Welcome back to BarcaBuzz TV. My name is Adam. Huge 3-0 victory against Sevilla at the Camp Nou today in La Liga, putting us 8 points. 8 points ahead of Real Madrid for that La Liga race. Of course, we all woke up with a pretty happy situation going on, right? Real Madrid lost to Mallorca, Real Sociedad lost, Atletico drew, Villarreal lost, and Real Betis lost, meaning all of the teams in the top six, besides Barca, had dropped points before this game began. And the game started with the lineup I think we all expected. Of course, Alejandro Balde had a little bit of a fever yesterday, so didn't train with the group. We started Jordi Alba instead, but then everything was what we expected, right? We saw Frenkie De Jong, Busquets, Gavi, Pedri, that four-man midfield, and then up front we had Lewandowski and Raphinha. Unfortunately, a few minutes into the game, we see Busquets just get his ankle torn up, going to be out probably 2 to 3 weeks, probably going to miss that first Manchester United game in the Europa League, but more to come on that as we get some tests done. And when he comes out, Xavi makes a curious choice. He puts on Kessie, right? He keeps that four-man midfield. This time, though, he puts on Kessie, which is a little bit unique because, before the season started, I'd heard some rumors that, Kessie would work good in a double pivot. So far this season, I think all of us haven't seen him exactly got his best foot forward, and so I wasn't really sure how he would do in this system. Turned out, right, when Kessie came on, that instead of him being, basically just subbing in for Busquets, he was probably more forward, and we had Pedri come back, acting as that double pivot with Frenkie De Jong. Pedri himself didn't have a good first half. Overall, the whole team didn't have a first half, right? You're sitting there 0-0 at halftime. Sure, we had a lot of possession, but, through the 30th to the 45th minute, we see Sevilla actually getting the ball a little bit more, and you're just thinking to yourself, man, would it have been better if Xavi had substituted on Ansu Fati or Ferran Torres and, went back to a 4-3-3 instead of this 3-2-5 system if Kessie is not going to fit, right? Because this whole 3-2-5 system has really benefited Frenkie De Jong and Busquets the most. In the last, month here when we've played that lineup, we've seen both of them excel. Didn't work with Kessie, and then I was confused about whether or not the team would really be able to come in that second half with some fire, because this is a Sevilla team, as we all know, in the bottom 5 of La Liga and not really challenging like they have usually in the league. But we come back into that second half, and you know what? Everything started to fire. And I think there are some big lessons we can take away from this game. First and foremost, we had the players who haven't had the best season, haven't had the best recent performances, that we really needed to step up in the absence of Dembele and Busquets. Step up, right? And of course, I'm talking about Jordi Alba, Raphinha, and Kessie, right? Raphinha gets that assist to Gavi on the second goal, and then he puts in a Jordi Alba cross for that third goal. You have Jordi Alba, who, of course, is not very happy being on the bench behind this young Alejandro Balde. Tried to, I think, force his way out a few times in the last, 8 months or so, since it's been clear Xavi is favoring Balde over Alba. He comes in, he puts in a great shift, right? He gets that first goal after halftime. The beautiful assist from Kessie, just puts it in the back of the net. He also got that assist to Raphinha. And so to see Jordi Alba really step up when we need him the most was awesome. And to see Kessie get his first, big assist, get us that goal that put us ahead. Also, I'm hoping it will just really be a momentum builder for all three players. Raphinha especially, he's got this thing. He gets those goal contributions we need, right? It's almost the opposite of Dembele. Whereas Dembele is a great 1v1 player making dribbles. That whole first half, you see Raphinha not really make a lot of dribbles, some awkward shots and crosses, doesn't really put it together. But then you look at the numbers here, and in 2023, this calendar year so far through January and the first game of February, Raphinha leads La Liga with 8 goal contributions, 4 goals and 4 assists so far. And so you've heard me talking probably a little bit too much ever since Dembele was out and since Lewandowski was suspended in La Liga. Who's going to be the person to step up and try and help us win these games and put goals or assists, on the scoreboard? And we saw Pedri come up with 2 huge goals to win us some 1-0 games in La Liga. And then today you see, Raphinha score. You see Gavi again put another goal. You see Jordi Alba step up. And so that is really a good sign for the team as we kind of peek forward to this Manchester United leg in Europe. I always think, and I think a lot of us Barca fans do, about all the baggage we have of so many times when the team has Roma, Anfield, Bayern, right? That second-minute penalty we gave up to Frankfurt last season in the Europa League. You think about all the baggage, and you really hope that, this will be the year where we have almost a fully refreshed team from those, teams of past. Lenglet's gone, Gerard Piqué is gone, Jordi Alba's hardly starting. And you see today, and, I feel like we've seen in the last month here, right, that the team's really gaining confidence. And players who are put on the bench aren't really sulking around, causing a problem in the locker room. They're coming up ready to perform, and we saw that today with Alba, Raphinha, and Kessie. So hopefully Kessie is able to take this. I think he's the most important guy now that Busquets is out to be the one to be the next man up, right? Because of how confident the team has looked in this new 3-2-5 system. It's if we're going to really keep it the same and try and not disturb stuff too much, keep on this roll in La Liga, in the Europa League, and of course in the Copa del Rey against Real Madrid, Kessie is going to have some huge minutes as well as Raphinha with Dembele out in the next few weeks here. So let's pray they keep doing well. I think another big takeaway too, obviously, with the defense, we're still looking at here a record pace, 15 clean sheets in 20 games, only 7 goals allowed in La Liga. And, with Koundé and Araujo back since the World Cup, with Christensen just being a stud and also healthy at this period of time, and then, Balde too, although Alba today, we're seeing the best defensive lineup from Barca. But really what is impressive to me is not only their defense, but actually their ability to play the ball, right? You think about that first goal. It's Christensen who gets a ball over the top to Raphinha, to Kessie, to Alba to score. You think about the Raphinha goal, right? It is Koundé getting a long ball out to Raphinha, who's able then to cross it in to Gavi for the second goal, actually. And so I'm just really enthused to see, not only are our defenders stepping up on the defensive side and, of course, being stalwarts along with Ter Stegen. We've talked on and on about that, but just to see the continued ability of our back line to create offense is really what's adding another level to our team and allowing us to break through some of these low blocks, right? Because you see today in that first half when Sevilla were playing some really negative football, they had five men on that back line at all times. It was really tough for us to get through. It was in that second half when you see our center backs and right and left backs really bombing forward, or Koundé, who just has an unbelievable eye for, runs. He's able to see Dembele and Raphinha a lot when they're making runs and get a ball through. It's just beautiful to see, especially when I think about, watching Man City Tottenham today. You see Erling Haaland making a lot of runs, and you're not seeing a lot of players either from the Man City midfield or defense connecting with him. It was really, really encouraging today to see us able to get the ball out to Raphinha in space, especially when we've seen that he had trouble in that first half, kind of unlocking himself and making good passes or putting himself in a scoring opportunity with his teammates. And then I think the last thing is, a theme that we were really scared of at the beginning of January, right? This whole idea that once Barca went up 1 goal, they just started to shut down, basically perform in a little shell, lose all their rhythm. Today, we didn't see that at all. We see Jordi Alba put in that first goal, and then immediately afterwards, we see the team again pressing forward, trying to make good passes, trying to get the ball forward, not playing negatively, not, just putting up a little bit of a shell and playing passively. We saw them go for that second goal, go for that third goal. We could have got a fourth potentially. And so just to see the team and that mentality mindset shift is really big to me. Because I've pointed out a few times how, Pedri himself vocalized the fear that a lot of us fans had that, once the team is going up 1-0, they were starting to turtle a little bit and not really go for the kill, as they say. And so I'm really happy to see the team go out there and just perform their best. I thought it was a very good performance from Barca in that second half. I was thrilled to see so much connection between our midfield and our forwards. I was happy to see Ansu Fati and Ferran Torres get some time as subs. Alejandro Balde, like I mentioned initially, who had been injured with a fever, not really an injury, in the last few days, to see him come on and get some minutes as a sub, that was also reassuring because he, as much as, I'm actually someone who understands Jordi Alba has a place in this team in a long La Liga season. I certainly know that I'd rather have Balde up in these big games like against Manchester United. So it's good to see him back and healthy. And then besides that, a player I haven't mentioned too much today, again, one of my favorite players, Frenkie De Jong, who has just looked so much better with this 4-man midfield. He used to get a lot of flack talking about how he was, not an integral part of the team, or he's like a luxury player who can't be the basis and the midfielder who our team builds around. He is really throwing all those notions away. You see him so often in the back line with Christensen and Araujo being the one to help get the ball from Ter Stegen and build it up forward. You see him get that beautiful pass to Jordi Alba on the third goal, right? That whole goal that Raphinha scored started with a Frenkie De Jong wonderful pass to Jordi Alba over the top. And so to see Frenkie De Jong continue to grow in importance, continue to grow in confidence in this team is just going to beget a lot of success. I know there's so many of you who are upset about his contract and his wages. You know, that is something that the board has to take care of with the player, but to see him really revitalize under Xavi is just makes me happy, right? Same thing with Dembele this season and last season, right? Just to see the way that Xavi has gotten some of our players who weren't in their best run of form when he took over to finally see that push, to see them achieve their best version of themselves, really shows what a good coach is about. You know, if you've heard me and you've been listening to the Barca Breakdown for years now, you've heard me talk about this phenomenon that no players who have come to Barca really since I think like Rakitic and Suarez since that offseason have come to Barca and improved as players. And finally I'm seeing, even though they came a few years ago, Dembele and Frenkie de Jong improve under Xavi. And we're finding the best way to utilize them, and it is getting us, you know, the success we need in this 8-point lead in La Liga. But the mindset is there, guys, right? We're coming back from this bad first half. We're winning games. We're winning the scrappy games. We have to win 1-0. We're getting these Super Cup penalties won, finals won against Real Madrid. We got through to the Copa semis. I mean, everything is on the roll we need it to be right now. So everyone cross your fingers. Try not to jinx us. Of course, we have to deal with massive injuries to, you know, two certain starters in Dembele and now Busquets, but everything is there for us where we want to see in the most important time of the season. I am getting so hyped up to see us play against Manchester United in about a week and a half here. So let me know in the comments who was your man of the match in this game, what you guys think, and how well we're going to do, and you know, whether we can really aspire to winning two of the trophies that we're at play this season. Thank you, guys.